Good morning, students. Welcome to your online mathematics class. So now we will begin with complex numbers. Okay. So don't get worried about the name complex numbers. It is not complex. It is easy. Okay. Easy to understand. Okay. So as I have written, intro to complex numbers. This means before starting with the complex numbers, I'll just tell you a brief introduction for complex numbers. What was the need for the complex numbers? Now, so in quadratic equation we studied, suppose if I write x square minus 9 is equal to 0. If I transpose this minus 9, so I will get x square is equal to 9, right? So x is equal to plus 3 or minus 3, correct? Till here, correct? Now suppose if I rewrite this equation as x square plus 9 is equal to 0, and I write x square is equal to, now when I transpose this plus 9 on the right side, this will be minus 9. So can you take the square root of a negative number? Can you take a square root of a negative number? No, in real. Okay, in real part there is no solution for this. Let me rub this. Okay, in real numbers. Okay, if you remember in 10th we studied that suppose if the discriminant b square minus 4ac is less than 0, that is negative. If b square minus 4ac is less than 0, this was the discriminant. Okay, if d was less than 0, we said it has no real roots. Okay, no real roots. Okay, or we used to say it has imaginary roots. Okay, if you remember imaginary roots. Okay, so this means in real number system we do not have a square root of a negative number. Okay, this we cannot have a square root of a negative real number. Okay, when we are studying real number system. Okay, that is why there was the need for this. Okay, to solve these type of equations. Suppose if I write this equation again, one more equation. If I write x square plus 1 is equal to 0. So x square is equal to minus 1. So again this is same. Discriminant will be less than 0 for any quadratic equation. If discriminant was less than 0, so it will have no real roots or imaginary roots. Now x square is equal to minus 1. So if I take this x is equal to minus 1 root, this is possible only in complex numbers. Okay, so this is your I. Okay, I is equal to minus 1 root, or I square is equal to minus 1, and this is your imaginary number. Okay, imaginary number. So before studying complex numbers, you should know what are imaginary numbers. Okay, so this I is your imaginary number, and it was discovered by Euler. Okay, he was a mathematician who told about this. I square is equal to minus 1 or I is equal to minus 1 square root. Okay, so this means I is equal to minus 1 root is possible in complex numbers only. In real numbers this is not possible. See here, I'll change the ink so it will be easy for you. Okay, no real root. Okay, no real root. Okay, this. Okay, we studied in real number system. Again I'm repeating, students, in real number system this is not possible, square root of a negative number. Okay, this is only possible in complex numbers. So this I is called as an imaginary number. Alright, what is imaginary number now? We have to just imagine. Okay, that is why I square is equal to minus 1. Okay, students, so have you followed? So what was the need of complex numbers? Okay, what was the need of complex numbers? So this was the need to calculate square root of a negative number. Now suppose the another important part, if I take, see, I square is equal to minus 1. This means, can you think of any number whose square is negative? This is only imaginary number. Suppose if I take 3, okay, 3 into 3 is equal to 9, it is positive. If I take minus 3 into minus 3, this is again positive, right? This means, what is the speciality of this I square? the speciality of this I square is that a square of a number which is always negative is your imaginary number. It cannot be any real number. See, you can take any number and check this fact. Okay, the speciality of I square is -1. Are you following? See, I'll repeat again. You take any number. You take any number whose square is negative. Negative is not possible in real number, but in complex numbers it is possible, and that number is only I square is equal to -1. Are you following the speciality? This means I square is equal to -1 is the only number, that is imaginary number, whose square is negative. Okay, so either you remember this I square is equal to -1 or I is equal to -1 square root. Square root of a negative number is possible only in complex numbers. Okay, so don't forget this. I'm repeating again. Square root of a complex of any number of a negative number is possible only in complex numbers, not in real number systems. Okay, so that is why we need complex numbers to calculate square root of a negative numbers. Okay, students. So let me change the slide and I'll explain you more concepts. Okay, so now it is clear to you. I square 100. I square is equal to -1. Let me change the ink. Alright, so I square is equal to -1. I square is equal to -1 or I is equal to -1 root. Clear? So this is your imaginary number. Okay, imaginary number. So before studying complex number, you should know what is imaginary number. Now suppose if I write -3. Okay, so -3 can be rewritten as 3 into -1, which is equal to 3 into this I1 -1 is equal to I square, so I can write 3I square. Are you following? Take another example. -5 can be rewritten as 5 into -1, which is equal to 5 multiplied by I square. Why by I square? Because the value of I square is -1. So this is equal to 5I square. Okay, so now directly we can write. Okay, so if I ask you what is -7, so you can directly write this as 7I square. Are you following? Clear, students? I hope you have followed. This is all the basic concepts which you should know before starting with complex numbers. Now suppose if I write this in square root form. Okay, suppose now -3 square root. So I already told that square root of a negative number is only possible in case of complex numbers. Okay, square root of a negative number is not possible in real numbers. Okay, not in, it will have no real solution. So this means now square root of -3, I can rewrite this as 3 into -1. Clear, students? So this will again split as 3 into -1 square root. So this is equal to √3. And what is this -1 square root? So -1 square root is IC. I'll change the marker and highlight it. This. Okay. Are you following, students? Clear? So see from here, this -1 square root is equal to what? I. Followed? -1 square root. Can you see, students? -1 square root. -1 square roots are written here. Followed? Similarly, if I write -5 square root, so this will be rewritten as 5 into -1, which is equal to √5 into -1 root. So this is equal to √5, and this is again what? Imaginary number called as iota. Okay, so I can write this I. Okay, I is your imaginary number and called as iota. Okay, it is called as iota. Imaginary number, this I is called as iota. Are you following? Now take an example of perfect square. Suppose if I take -25, okay, square root. So this can be written as 25 into -1 square root. Okay, so 25 square root into -1 square root. So root 25 is a perfect square, so this will be written as 5, and this is what in imaginary number I. You can write this. Are you following? So this minus 25 square root is what? 5i. So in this way, students, we will solve all the equations in all those numbers in these questions. Okay. So now coming to complex numbers now. Okay. So this is all the basic concepts which you should know. Okay, before starting with complex number, what is imaginary number, what is the value, how to relate. Okay, so this was a basic concept. Now I'll start with complex numbers. Okay, so that was the basic foundation which I wanted to tell you before starting with complex numbers. So now I'll start with complex numbers. A number which can be written in the form of z is equal to a plus ib is complex number. Okay, keep this in mind. A number which can be written in this form, z is equal to a plus ib, is called as a complex number. This is the form. Okay, you should keep this in mind. As quadratic equation had general form what? Ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. So what is the form of a complex number, or what is complex number? This z is equal to, denoted by z, is equal to a plus ib. So what are a and b? These are a and b. Okay, a and b are real numbers. Okay, a and b are real numbers. Okay, and this I is your imaginary number. Suppose if I write now z is equal to 3 plus 4i. Okay, so this is a complex number, and this is called as real part of z. So we denoted by real z. So real z is equal to 3. And this I imaginary number, where is this I coming? So we write imaginary, I m z imaginary number, okay, is equal to 4. Are you following, students? See another example. If I take z is equal to 10 plus 12i. So what is real part of z? So real part of z is equal to 10, and imaginary part or imaginary z is equal to 12. Are you following? Take last example. If I write z is equal to 15 minus 20i. So I will rewrite this as 15 plus minus 20i. Are you following? So z is equal to this. So what is the real part of z? So real part of z is equal to 15, and imaginary part of z is equal to minus 20. So you can compare this. Okay, so if you are getting confused, here I highlighted. So you can differentiate. Okay, this can be written as a plus ib. Okay, so this a is your real part. Okay, these are real numbers only, and this is your real z, and this is your imaginary z. Okay, are you following? So you can compare this. Clear, students? A plus ib. So what is the real part of z? So real part of z is 15. What is imaginary z? Imaginary z is equal to minus 20. I hope, students, now you are clear what are imaginary numbers, okay, what are complex numbers. Before studying complex numbers, so I told all that base. Okay, what are imaginary numbers? I square is equal to minus 1, and I is equal to minus 1 square root. So this is what the basics for before starting with complex numbers. So before starting complex numbers, you should know what are imaginary numbers. Okay, I square is equal to minus 1. I'm repeating again, or I is equal to minus 1 square root. Okay, so these are the basic concept before studying complex number, and now you know what is a complex number, a number of this form. Okay, in some books it has given that z is equal to x plus iy. That is also correct, students. Okay, if you're getting confused, you can still write z is equal to x plus iy. Both the notations are correct. Okay, here z and x and y will be real numbers, and this is real part of z, and this is imaginary part of z. So it does not make any difference. Z is equal to a plus ib, or z is equal to x plus iy. Okay, student. So this is the introduction to complex numbers. Now in the upcoming video, I will explain you how to use complex numbers. Okay, what are the different properties, addition, subtraction of complex numbers. So keep this in mind. So the basic purpose of complex numbers was what? To calculate square root of a negative number. Okay, students, I hope now you've understood the base, you have understood imaginary numbers. Okay, before studying complex number, you should know imaginary numbers. In this way, we will solve the questions. So complex numbers and imaginary numbers are clear. So study well, student. All the best. I hope you have followed all the concepts. Okay, study well.